really complex in the way that we have several layers and several dimensions that underlie coordination. So if we think about the several layers, we can think of coordination across the international community as a whole. We can think of another layer which is actually between the various bilateral and multilateral actors in the international sphere. There's a third level which is actually coordination between the international partners and the national partner or the national implementing country. And then within the various bilateral countries, for instance, there is, the level of headquarters. There's also the level of field offices, and the national implementing partner as well has the different agencies, the different security and justice agencies. So it is really complex to try to achieve, a joint approach to all of these layers. But when thinking as well of dimensions, we still have to put the process into perspective. So we have a strategic level, we have an operational level, and we have a tactical level. Another dimension, for instance, is if we look at the national implementing countries, they also need to look at their reforms from a strategic point of view, but which is more of a national kind of dimension. They need to try to see how these reforms actually impact on a provincial level and also at the level of communities. So there is really quite a bit of complexity in terms of trying to achieve some sort of coherence along the various layers and dimension of coordination. The main lesson from the current SSR processes is that coordination should not be looked upon as an end in itself. It's actually a goal to facilitate the implementation of these reforms and actually to achieve their sustainability. If you, for instance, you have coordination between headquarters and field offices, you are more easily able to adapt to the changing circumstances on the ground, for instance, in terms of security environment and also the changes in the process of SSR. So by having a coordinated approach, the response will be more effective and it will be definitely much more rapid. An engagement or even a mechanism of coordination will facilitate this mutual level of accountability between the different international partners, but as well as between the national implementing partner or country and the various internationals. So this is, another benefit of coordination. Two other benefits of coordination are actually, first of all, avoiding a duplication, avoiding using scarce resources into the same areas, especially because that usually also means that donors tend to focus in those areas which are kind of the sexy areas, but this actually means that you create an imbalance in the various security agencies that are the receiving of this support. Another benefit is really this aspect of reducing the burden of management of the support of the financial aid on the implementing partner, because your reporting systems become also a bit more coherent and more easier for the implementing partner. Coordination also helps us to facilitate the learning, because as you have these mechanisms for sharing of information, you also develop some sort of mutual learning from the different experiences and engagements of the different partners from the different programs. So there's a mutual learning, but there's also this aspect of the sharing and of pooling resources to actually be able to have a much more a better impact on the country. At the end of the day, most of the focus on aspects of coordination, the current discussions, and actually the current focus of attention has been really on the coordination mechanisms and the coordination of the international actors, bilaterals and multilaterals. However, what we need to consider and put more focus, where actually a big challenge lays nowadays, is actually coordination by national actors, their capacity to coordinate these processes, to coordinate the support and the aid that they receive from their international partners and from their funders. And this is really crucial and needs to be looked upon, because usually national partners do not have this coordinating capacity. So they require some support, and this support to actually nurture and help create these mechanisms that from the national side can actually provide this coordination really requires some support across time. It cannot just be, set up a mechanism and, hope that it will work on itself. There needs to be some sustained support to these national coordination mechanisms.